Good morning, everybody, and as usual, happy Saturday. I am Coach Ray. Thank you for joining me for today's stick mobility class. This month we are still on suspension training alongside stick mobility. So if you have suspension trainers, this is going to be the perfect class for you. For today's class, we are going to need access to all three sticks. So 2 long and 1 short. For today's class, we are going to be focusing on kind of doing a full body, but we're going to be doing a single leg squat to a RDL on the TRX. So we're going to kind of flow back and forth between those two. We're also going to work with getting in a row, and we're going to kind of do it in a way where we add in a little bit of grip tension. We're also going to be throwing some stick mobility drills in between some of the suspension trainer exercises. We're also going to be doing a little bit of core, so we're going to make today a little hard, but it's going to be fun, not too challenging. We are going to go through a full body warm-up since we are doing a full body type of class. Let's go ahead and get into our warm-ups. We're going to need our short stick for now, and we're just going to start off really simple. We're just going to start off with some kayaking here. And so I'm going to have my fingertips on the ends of the stick. I'm going to take a step back. I'm going to take a relatively wide stance, and I'm going to get into a horse stance here. This is going to be the first one. Make sure you squeeze the glutes. I'm going to start with that right hand up nice and high. Then I'm going to drive that right hand through. Slowly come up and over with the left, then drive the left hand through. Now I really want to get as much movement in the shoulder blades as we can manage here without getting movement in the spine. Make sure you're breathing here. So we're not going for a rotation of the spine, it's just movement from the shoulders. Let's go backwards. Try to get as much range as you can. Nice and controlled. Now we're going to go forward again. This time we're going to add in rotation. So as I bring my left hand up and over, rotate to my right. As I bring my right hand up and over, I rotate to my left. Hips are still forward. Good, backwards. Good, try to get a real big scoop. Almost like you're trying to scoop up a snowball. Throw it at somebody. Just kidding. Good, 3, 2, 1, and excellent. Good. Now we're still going to stick with the short stick, and we're going to work on shoulder rotation, specifically external rotation here. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to take the stick, and the stick's going to be in a vertical position. I'm just going to start with my right hand. I'm going to bring my right hand around, and I'm going to grip the end of the stick here like so. Notice that my arm is at 90 degrees, and I want to keep it at 90 degrees here. I don't want to be here. I don't want to be here. I want to be right here. So make sure you're gripping that stick, all fingers gripping. We need to actually have that tension here. I'm going to have my right elbow directly in front of my shoulder here. Remember, don't bring it down, don't bring it up. So from here, my left hand is down, right? And I'm going to grip that stick at about 30% tension. And then what I'm going to do from here with my left hand, I'm going to pull across my belly button here. So I'm getting external rotation on that right shoulder. Now as I'm here, I'm going to lightly pull the stick apart at about 20% tension and hold that range. Now what we're doing here is we're getting that tension in the shoulder, the external rotators of the shoulder. Excellent. We're going to ease off, nice and slow. Good. We're going to go back into it again. If you're finding that your wrist is kind of, maybe it's not more comfortable for your wrist, you can change your hand position to be more here. So let's go again. So grip that stick 30%, externally rotate. If you can, get a little further. Now pull the stick apart. Breathe. Try to lengthen that stick here. Excellent. Now try to compress that stick from that same position. Good. Hold. Pull the stick apart. Try to get a little bit more rotation. Still gripping that stick at 30%. Now compress the stick. Excellent. 3, 2, 1. Excellent. Slowly ease off. hand off. Now we're gonna switch sides. We're gonna do that same thing. So left hand comes around, grip that stick, 30%. Get some rotation, so pull across with that right hand. Do not go any further than you can. If you're starting to get pain, back off that stretch. Now we're gonna pull the stick apart, about 20%. Try to lengthen that stick here. Excellent, slowly ease off. Good, grip the stick 30%. Pull. Good, lengthen that stick. Shorten the stick. Try to compress it. Breathe. Excellent. Pull apart. Try to get a little bit more rotation here. Breathe. Compress the stick. Try to shorten. 3, 2, 1. Slowly ease off and hand off. Relax. Wonderful. We're going to get into dislocates here. So what's going to be a little different with the dislocates is typically when we do it, we have an overhand position, almost like we're going to do an overhead press. We're going to actually switch our hand position. Instead, we're going to go to an externally rotated position. So it's going to be a lot harder. The range of motion is going to feel quite a bit different. So I'm going to start, take a wide grip. Wide grip. If you're super mobile, you can go narrow. But for this, I would suggest going with the wider grip here. Now, the cues are still the same. We still want to make sure we're keeping that elbow straight. We want to try not to bend that elbow as much as we can here. So having a palms up grip, or reverse grip if you will, I'm going to pull the stick apart. I'm going to lengthen that stick, about 20% tension, and I'm going to bring the stick up overhead, nice and slow. And I'm going to get to whatever my end range is, still keeping the ribs in line with the pelvis. Good, I'm going to come down, and as I get to my eye line, I'm going to compress that stick. Fill the chest, and the anterior tissues turn on. Pull the stick apart again. Slowly bring it up overhead. We're only going to about 20 to 30% tension here, folks. Bring it up, down, compress. Wonderful. Pull apart. Try to lengthen. Bring that stick up overhead. Keep control of that rib cage. Down and compress. Excellent. And ease off. Wonderful. Now we're going to grab the 2 long sticks here, folks. So again, we are going to get into working with a single leg squat and an RDL. So we are now going to make sure that we warm up the hips a little bit. And specifically, I want to warm up the hips with abduction and external rotation. So we're going to combine those 2 movements here. I'm going to start with my feet together. Toes forward. Bottom of the sticks are going to be angled in towards me. Now notice the sticks aren't out too far here. We want to make sure we can actually get to that position and then work on externally rotating that hip from that abducted position here. Now my hands are going to be out straight, roughly at shoulder height. Bottoms of the sticks are lined up with my midfoot. I'm going to first drive both sticks down at about 40% tension. Now from here, I'm going to hover my right foot off the floor, bring the outside of my right foot to the right stick and push against the stick at about 30% tension. Remember, this is just a warm-up. Now from here, keeping my foot's pointed forward here, now I'm going to externally rotate my hip, and I'm going to mostly now drive my right foot back behind me. So I'm getting abduction and hip extension. I'm going to rotate my hip back forward to neutral and bring that right foot back in and ease off. All right. So I'll actually kind of show you from the side here. Let's go again. So drive both sticks down, hover that right foot, bring it to the right stick, push against the stick here, externally rotate that hip, drive back behind you. Rotate that hip back forward and back in, ease off. Let's go one more time. Drop both sticks down, hover the right foot, bring it to the right stick, push. Good. Externally rotate the hip. The movement comes from the hip, not the foot, not the ankle, but the hip. Rotate that back forward. Excellent. Back in and ease off. Let's go ahead and switch sides here. Gonna go with the left side. Drop both sticks down, hover that left foot, bring it to the left stick and push. Externally rotate that left hip. Push back. Rotate it back forward. Excellent. Back in and ease off. We got two more. Drop both sticks down, hover to the left, bring it to the left stick. Keep pushing. Externally rotate that hip. Excellent. Rotate that hip back forward. Bring it in. Ease off. Let's go one more time. Drop both sticks down, hover the left. Bring it to that left stick and push. Good. Externally rotate that hip. Rotate that hip out as far as you can. Rotate it back forward. Back in. And ease off. Wonderful. We're going to get into a wide stance. Wide is whatever's comfortable for you. We're going to be working with constant squat going side to side. We're going to add in rotation. We've done this drill before. I'm going to have the bottom of both sticks on the inside of both feet here. One hand's going to be higher, one hand's going to be lower. So I'm going to start my right hand up roughly about forehead height. You can go a little higher if you need to or adjust. I'm going to have my left hand roughly about rib cage height here. I'm going to be lunging to my left. As I do that, I'm bringing that left stick across and pulling that right arm back. So from here, I'm going to hinge, slight bend to the knees. I'm going to bring this left stick across, lunge to my left, and really pull back with the right hand, with the top hand, and I'm like driving out with my left. I'm gonna come back up. We're gonna do that a couple more times. So drive those hips back, reach out, back up. Let's go again. Hinge back, reach across with that left. Back up. Excellent. Let's switch sides. So left hand is up, right hand is down. We're going to do that same thing. We're going to lunge to the right. You want to keep that top hand in line with your rib cage here. Back up. Let's go again. Hinge back. Rotate that right hand across. Breathe. Back up. Let's go one more time. Lunge to the right. Three, two, one. Back up. Excellent. Good. Wiggle those feet back in. And now from here, we're going to take a split stance. So I'm going to have my right foot forward here, left foot back. Notice that my left foot is in line with my left hip. I'm not going with a wider stance here. I'm going to have the left stick in line with the heel of my front foot. So heel of my right foot here. I'll actually kind of show us from the side. I'm going to have the right stick almost in line with the toes of my back foot here. But you want it behind your hips. Now from here, I'm going to have my left hand at about roughly shoulder height. I'm going to have my right hand a little higher than my shoulders from this position. And we're going to work on rotation. We need to load that front leg. So make sure that knee is stacked over that ankle, gripping the ground with your toes. I'm going to lightly drive both sticks down about 20%. And now, having my right arm straight, I'm going to open up and rotate to my right. As I do that, I'm going to drive my left hand forward. I'm going to hold this position and then come back forward here. Then we're going to go again. Open up that right hand, drive that left hand forward. come back forward. Let's go again. Drive that left hand forward, open that right hand up. Excellent. Come back forward and ease off. Let's go ahead and switch sides here. So bottom of the stick in line with the heel. Right hand roughly about shoulder height. Left hand is up higher. Drop both sticks down. Make sure you load that front leg. Keep it stacked over that midfoot. Open up. Drive that right hand forward. Excellent. Rotate forward. Open up. Drive that right hand forward. Still driving down lightly. Back forward. Let's go one more time, folks. Drive the right hand forward. Open that left hand up. Excellent. Come back forward and ease off. Relax. Wonderful. We're going to start off with the single leg squat and the RDL flow. Now we're going to place both sticks down. I'm going to grab TRX here. Now, as we do this, we want to make sure that, for one, our foot stays on a flat to the floor. Meaning, I don't want your heel coming up. So you need to make sure you're creating even pressure. Sorry, I'm going to move the camera a little bit. Throughout your entire foot. If you feel you're not able to do so, something that you can actually do is if you have like a little pad, you can actually place that little pad under your heel just so it's not as hard in terms of balance, and also take some of the demand off your ankles, right? Ankle mobility. I'm gonna take this suspension trainers here, and you wanna grip it, but kind of the same way you would for a row. However, the difference is, I'm not actually gonna do a row. It's for balance here. I am sorry, I'm not too happy with that camera angle. Let me move this out a little bit more. Bam, there we go. Now, in terms of distance and how far back you're gonna be, that is gonna vary. So I'll actually kind of come over here a little bit more. For me, I'm gonna have it about six inches in front of my chest here. Remember, we're using this for balance, so you're not gonna actively pull yourself up. You can if you need a little bit of assistance, but you wanna try to let your legs do as much of the work as possible. Now from here, I'm gonna start with my left foot down, and I'm gonna make sure my left foot is active, so grabbing the ground with your toes. So from here, right foot is gonna be off the floor. What I'm gonna do from this position, keeping light pressure on the suspension trainers, I'm gonna start to squat down, and I'm gonna sink down as low as I comfortably can. My right foot is off the floor, so I'm actively flexing that hip, and then I'm gonna come up. After I come up, I'm going to go into a single leg RDL, keeping balance on that left foot, driving my hips back, driving my right heel back behind me, still on an active foot here, come up to that tall position, and repeat again. So squat down, up, go into that RDL, drive that right foot back, come up, let's go two more, squat down, up, hinge. Should be feeling that left foot and glute working real hard here. One more time. Squat down, up, hinge, drive those hands out, and come up, and relax. Now we're going to switch sides. We're going to do that same thing here. But actually, I'm going to come to the side. Maybe this might be a little bit of a better angle. Probably not. We'll see. Now, sorry. So we're going to go right foot. Remember, keep that right foot active. Grab the ground with your right foot here. Drive that big toe into the floor. Create that tension. Same thing. Squat down. Left foot is up. Dorsiflexion is left ankle. Come up. Hinge. Drive that left foot back. Good. Up. Squat down. Up. Hinge. Wonderful. That's 2. Come up tall. Squat. Up. Hinge. Reach out. That's 3. Let's go again. Up. Hinge. Reach. Stand up. 4. Excellent. Take a second. We're going to go one more time here. Now, if you're finding that your foot feels really unstable, right? It could be that you're not creating enough tension in the feet and the ankles. But the objective here is to make sure that as you're going through the motion, that knee is over midfoot, right? That's the position of best stability. You want to stack those joints as much as you can. We're going to do this again. Left foot's actively grabbing the ground, right foot is straight out. Squat down. Up. Good. Hinge. Squat. Up. Hinge. It's 2. Squat. Up. Hinge. It's 3. One more. Squat. Up. Hinge. And that's 4. Excellent. Let's switch sides. Grab the ground with the right foot. Nice and active here. Squat. Up. Hinge. 1. Squat. Keep that left foot up. Good. Hinge. That's 2. Squat. Up. Hinge. It's 3. One more time. Squat. Up and hinge. And that's 4. Wonderful. Excellent. Now, we're going to get into something a little fun. So, a week ago, I did a little bit of a landmine drill. We're going to do something very, very similar with the TRX. Now, for this, the position is going to be real specific. So, we are going to need the stick for this as well. Now, what I'm looking for, is how well can you activate that lateral chain, as well as how well can you keep that positioning. So what we're going to do, I'm going to put the stick in the TRX here, and I'll actually kind of show more from this side so you can kind of see what that visual looks like. So for this, we're looking at connecting the hip and that rib cage. So we're going to be laterally flexing here. As we actually do that, we're going to bring that left heel up and hip up. What I really, really want you to focus on here is we're driving the hip up towards the shoulder and driving that shoulder down towards the hip. We're going to look at what's called the landmark, which is going to be the point between your elbow and the front of your hip. You need to make sure you keep that connection. If I put a tennis ball there, I want you to crush that thing, all right? So I'm going to start with a roughly hip width stance. That's going to be a good place to start at. The stick is actually going to be kind of over this left shoulder here. Now what I'm going to do with this right hand, I'm going to place it on top of my left hand. I'm in the middle of the stick here, by the way. Now what I'm going to do, left elbow, I'm going to bring it down to my left hip. You're already going to feel that oblique and those lateral tissues turn on. Now what I'm going to do to really drive that connection is I'm going to drive my left hip up towards my left elbow as hard as I can, keeping my right elbow up nice and high. And I want to create tension here. Drive that elbow down, drive that hip up, hold that connection. 3, 2, 1, excellent, ease off. All right, so you should be getting a little bit of a bow on the stick. You're trying to basically almost break the stick without actually breaking it, folks. Let's go again. Right hand on top of the left. Bring that left elbow down to that front of the hip. Drive that hip up into the elbow. Hold. Should be going at about 70% intensity. Hold. 3, 2, 1. Excellent. Ease off. Let's go one more time. You should be feeling those obliques kick on. You're going to feel that lat kick on as well. All right, folks, let's go again. Right hand on top of the left. Left elbow down. Bring it to the hip. Drive that hip up. Drive that left heel up hard. Hard, hard, hard. Look forward. Look straight forward here. 70%. Breathe. 3, 2, 1. Excellent. Ease off. Wonderful. We're going to switch sides. Woo-wee. Okay. I'm not going to lie here. I'm getting a little bit of crampies. All right. So hand is in the middle of the stick again. Now we're going to do the opposite side. Again, same thing. Make sure you're driving that right heel up. Right heel and hip. Up, up, up. That's one of the most important parts of this. Left hand is over the top of the right. I'm going to connect that right elbow to the front of my right hip. And I'm going to drive that right hip up into my elbow as hard as I can. Or at 70%. Drive. Remember, you want to crush something if it's right in here. 3, 2, 1, and ease off. If you got an orange there, make some orange juice. All right? Let's do it. Let's go again. Right elbow to that right hip. Left hand's up nice and high. And drive. Drive that right hip up into that right elbow. 70%. Let's go. Hold. 3, 2, 1. Excellent. Ease off. We're going to go one more time, folks. Right elbow down. Drive that left hip up and pull. Try to compress. Compress is 70%. I keep almost saying as hard as you can. Hold. 3, 2, 1. Excellent. And ease off. Wonderful, wonderful. Now we're going to get into a row. We're going to work on some pull movements here. I'm going to take the TRX. Now you can do a row, you can do an inverted row, you can do whatever's most comfortable for you. It depends on how much of a challenge you want. So remember, with the suspension trainer, the more you are parallel to the floor, the bigger the challenge. If you're a little bit more perpendicular, it's less of a challenge. I want you guys to try to challenge yourself. So I want you to go with as much of a parallel angle as you can get. So from here, I'm going to start. A good place to start, or the good thing to do is have the suspension trainer touching your chest, right? And then walk your feet under until you find that desirable angle. From here, the suspension trainer touching my chest, I'm going to walk my feet under until I find I'm at the angle that I want. This is a pretty good angle for me. From here, I'm going to have my thumbs pointed up towards my face, and I'm going to keep them that way. So this is a neutral grip. From here, I want to pull my hands towards my rib cage and then back down. Keep those elbows in nice and tight. So pull, 2, pull, 3, pull, 4, pull, 5, pull, 6, 2 more, pull, 7, last one, pull, 8. Good. Walk your feet back. Take a second. Now, it's important that you keep your elbows in. Also, it's important that you're not changing the angle of your body, or your hips are shooting up or moving in any funky positions. Whatever position that your body is in, you want to keep it that way through the entire exercise. So try to remember that as we do this here. Let's go one more set of 8 here. So make it a good challenge, folks. This is the last one, and then we're going to get into some deep fascial stretching. So walk those feet under, get to that desired angle, get set up, shoulders down, pull, 1, pull, 2, elbows in tight, pull, 3, pull, 4, control going down, pull, 5, pull, 6, pull, 7. Last one. Pull. 8. Solid. Walk those feet back. Wonderful. Good. A little bit of row, a little bit of upper body, a little bit of lower body, a little bit of core, right? All right, let's stretch out. So we're going to take the 2 long sticks. We're going to first start on those hamstrings here. Since we did some RDL and some squatting, it only seems fair. I'm going to have both long sticks here. I'm going to have both feet together. I'm going to start with my right foot. So what I'm going to do with my right foot is I'm going to bring my right heel to be right in front of the line of my left toes here. Bottom of the sticks are going to be angled out in front. If I turn to the side, this is how they're angled. This allows me to actually work on getting a good hinge while keeping a neutral spine. So from here, right heel's in front, in line with that right hip. Not here, not here. Dorsiflex that right ankle, slight bend to that right knee. My both hands are on top, and I'm gonna drive my hips back. Go reaching down as far as I comfortably can without your back rounding. You wanna try to keep as neutral of a spine as you can. You dorsiflex an ankle. Now from this position, I'm gonna lightly drive my heel down and back into the floor, about 20%. You're gonna feel some activation in your hamstring. That's what we're going for here. Now from this position, I'm gonna start to rotate the hip. So I'm gonna externally rotate my hip or rotate it away from my center line or my belly button. And then I'm gonna internally rotate the hip towards my belly button or towards my center line. Externally rotate. Internally rotate, still driving that heel down and back. Externally rotate. Excellent. Internally rotate. Back to center. Come up. Ease off. Let's go ahead and switch sides. So I'll turn to the side here. Do that same thing. Left foot is just right in front of the line of the toes of the right foot. Dorsiflex that ankle. You need to make sure you're dorsiflexing and lengthen that back line. From here, slow, we're gonna start to hinge, driving those hips back. You can bend that right knee. So I have left knee bent, drive that heel down and back. If you're finding that you're getting a lot of stretch and activation in the back of the knee, bend your knee a little bit more. From here, start to externally rotate. Excellent. Internally rotate. Remember that movement comes from the hip. Externally rotate. Internally rotate. Externally rotate. Sorry, that was wrong call. Internally rotate. Back to center. Come up. Excellent. Good. Now we're going to go with the relatively wide stance. And we're going to focus on stretching out those anterior tissues, opening up those hips. And I'm actually going to turn to the side for this one here. The bottom of both sticks are on the inside of both feet here. I'm going to have my hands about forehead height, or you can go higher or lower. You can adjust your hands as you need to here. So from here, I'm going to have a slight bend to the knees, and I'm going to hinge my hips back. So I'm going to get a little bit of a stretch in that T-spine here. And I want to actually get a good hang in my hands. I'm going to squeeze my glutes coming up top, driving the sticks down lightly, and drive my hips forward, leaning back. Breathe. Excellent. Come back up. Bring those sticks forward. Breathe. Excellent. Squeeze those glutes. Drive those hips forward. Open those hands up. Make sure you're squeezing your glutes, otherwise you're going to get into that lumbar. We don't want that. Excellent. Come back forward one last time. Hinge back. Get a good hang in those hands. Take advantage of that stretch. Excellent. Squeeze those glutes. Drive those hips forward. Lean back. Breathe. Slowly come out. Excellent. And ease off. Let's go ahead and stretch out the chest a bit here. We're going to go with a roughly shoulder width stance. Toes are going to be pointed forward. And I'm going to have both sticks around the outside of both feet here, about in line with the toes. And my hands are going to be about face height. You have them at chin height, you have them up a little higher. If you don't want to go down as far, you can have the hands up a little higher. You'll still achieve that stretch. Now from here, I'm going to drive the sticks down about roughly 10 to 20% tension, so really, really lightly. And I'm going to bring my hands straight out to the side, and then I'm going to hinge back, driving my chest down towards the floor here, and keeping the sticks in line with my shoulders. You should be getting a nice good stretch in the chest here. Breathe. Slowly come up. Ease off. We're going to go into that again. Lightly drive those sticks into the floor. Hinge back. Keep them in line with your shoulders. Breathe. Breathing is extremely important as we stretch. Do not hold your breath. If you are, back off the stretch a bit, right? We don't want to cause a stress response. Come back up. Excellent. Let's go one more time, folks. Lightly drive those sticks down. Hinge. Get that chest to the floor, towards the floor, I should say. Telling you to get to the floor might not be the best thing, but you want to get a nice good stretch in the chest here. You should be feeling your chest start to open up quite a bit here, right? That's why we're hanging out here. Excellent. Slowly come up. Wonderful. Ease off. We're going to place one of the sticks down. We're going to work on some rotation. I think you guys know how much I love rotations. Can't lie. It's one of my favorite things to do. So we're now going to go with the rotation. We've done this drill as well. And we're going to go with the right foot forward, left foot back. This is going to be a drill where having a wider base might be a little bit more beneficial for you. So you can have a wide base. Rule of this drill, the stick comes on the outside of both legs. So my right foot is forward. I'm going to have the stick in my right hand. It comes on the outside of my right leg. Bottom of the stick goes on the outside of my left foot. Otherwise, if it's on the inside, the stick could slip, or you're not going to get the appropriate stretch and tension here. Now from this position, load that front leg, and I'm also going to abduct. So I'm going to drive this right leg against the stick. I'm going to reach across, grab into the stick with my left hand, and I'm going to pull back a bit, right? Now from here, I'm going to rotate. I'm going to take my right hand off, rotate back, pulling this left hand across. So I'm creating tension in that upper back. Get as far as you can. Now we're going to focus on 4 deep breaths. I'm going to go through 4 breath cycles. So deep breath in. Exhale. Let's go through 3 more. Breathe in. Exhale. 2 more. Breathe in. Exhale. 1 more time. Breathe in. Exhale. Bring it back forward and ease off. Let's go ahead and switch sides here, folks. I'm going to turn. I'm going to go from a different angle here. Left foot is forward now. Right foot is back. Create a wide base just so you're not tipping over and all over the place. Sticks in the left hand, comes on the outside of the left foot. Bottom of the sticks on the outside of that right foot. Lower that front leg. Create tension on that left hip by driving that leg toward into the stick. Reach with the right hand. Pull up. Let go with the left. Open up and rotate. 4 deep breaths. Breathe in. Exhale. Breathe in. Exhale. Breathe in. Exhale. One more time. Breathe in. Exhale. Bring it back forward. Excellent. Slowly ease off. Now we're going to get into a little bit of lateral stretching. Let's get into the bow and arrow. It's one of my favorites. I think you guys already know that by now too. We're just going to start with the stick being on the outside of the foot, and then we're going to bring the stick on into the inside of the foot so we actually get a little bit of a deeper stretch in those lateral tissues. We're also going to add a little bit of tension with that top hand by pulling up a little bit. I'm going to go with a shoulder width stance. Toes are going to be pointed forward here. Bottom of the stick is on the outside of my left foot and my left hand. I have the stick about roughly 4 to 6 inches on the outside of my foot. If you need to, adjust the bottom of the stick out a little bit further so you don't have to create as much tension into the stick. Now from here, left hand is roughly about waist height. I'm going to take that right hand, reach up over the top, thumb facing down towards the floor. First movement, drive those hips away, right? We're not going from here and pushing into it. You're not going to get as much out of it. Drive the hips away first, right? That's already going to create a stretch on the obliques, the hip. My left hand is here now. What I'm going to do is I'm going to extend both hands out. Wonderful. Now from here, I'm going to very lightly at about 10% pull up with that top hand. Going to get activation on that lateral line. Excellent. Ease off. Nice and slow. Now I'm going to take my left foot. I'm going to step out to a wider base here. I'm going to have the bottom of the stick relatively close to my center line. Hand is still at the same height, roughly about waist height here. Right hand comes up over the top, thumb facing down. Notice we're at more of a lateral flexed angle. Drive the hips away first, as always, and then extend that left hand down towards the floor. Now we're getting a deeper stretch. Same thing, 10%, pull up with that top hand. Excellent, ease off. Nice and easy. Now we're gonna switch sides. Step over here, hit that little slide. Right hand is about waist height. Left hand up over the top, thumb facing down. Drive those hips away. Excellent, extend both hands out. Lightly pull up with that top hand. Breathe. Excellent, ease off. Nice and slow. I'm going to step out with that right foot. Bottom of the stick is kind of towards my center line. Left hand up over the top. Drive those hips away first. Extend that right hand down. Lightly pull up with that top hand. 3, 2, 1. Slowly ease off and relax. And that, my friends, concludes today's stick mobility class. Thank you everybody for joining me. I hope everybody had a good class. If you have any time for questions, I'll leave this open for the next minute or so if you happen to have any. So, I hope everybody had a good class today. Want to do something a little different. Last week I used a stick for some of the drills with the TRX, but I just kind of wanted to focus on doing some drills, suspension trainer. Utilize suspension trainer on its own. However, the cool thing about the stick is, again, it's a tool that we can add in to our training. So you can use it while using a suspension trainer, or you can utilize it on the side of using the suspension trainer and actually create a little bit more of a stimulus and effect to your training. So you can get a lot more out of it and actually capitalize your training a whole lot more. But it does not look like anybody currently has any questions. So I am going to close the class. I appreciate you guys showing up again. Thank you for tuning in. I will be sure to catch y'all next weekend. As usual, stay safe. Have a good one. Catch you later.